Solo.
And hello! Welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We got a good one today. We're going with Pixels, the Magic Dragon, against level 6 Scotland. I know it's not his name, but I mean, alright. In the defense of this art, because I'm gonna make fun of it a lot, and I just want to say that I see all sides. The art, the full art, right? If you take away this panel that kind of mutes the whole second half, if you go on the Spirit Island wiki page, you'll see the full art. And I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool when you have like the full dragon and the tree and you can see like the terrain and you kind of understand the heat effect a little bit more. But I mean, this is a bad idea. Like it's just a really jarring close up. You can't close up when you intentionally pixelate to get the effect of heat. Doing a close up like this makes this look really bad. And I understand they probably have the same proportions for all the spirits and blah blah blah, but like, oh, it's a very jarring experience. But the full art's kind of cool. I'd put that on my wall. Why not? But we have pixels. We have Scotland, Sweden. I said Scotland. I meant Sweden. You know, one of the S countries, and they both have an N in there and a D. I mean, they're almost like the same place. Please do. Someone's be like, Sweden and Scotland are not the same place, you Americentric jerk. Yeah, I'm just making a joke. I know, I've been to both places, and I love them both. Actually, I haven't been to Sweden yet, but it's on my list. I've been to Scotland. Ooh, speaking of places that I love, man, I am like gonna have a hard time staying focused today. I'm sorry. Let's try. Let's try to get this down. So we're gonna pick out our board. We have A through F. I'm rolling a D6. I rolled the 4, so that's gonna get us on board D, which could be good because I'm gonna need a bit of a challenge. I played one game of this off camera, and I mean, I was not impressed by the level of challenge. I'll say it that way. I smashed it pretty emphatically. I definitely had a couple of good fear cards, but still, I didn't need that much to go my way, and it was just like, wow, Pixels is very strong, and that's just a thing that we're gonna have to know. I mean, all these low complexity spirits, I like a couple of them. I was just texting with Tony, my friend Tony, who's on the chat a lot. I like Googly Trees is probably my favorite. Yeah, I don't call any of them by their real names. I just can't respect them that much because of the art, not because of the low complexity. Googly Trees is probably my favorite of the challenges. Angry Eel is I like the thematic thing where you're pouncing and doing damage. I think that's cool. Whirlwind, Windy Cat, as Tony calls that spirit, is fine. Probably the one I would consider playing the most off camera because I think they're probably the weakest of the bunch. But that could just be an experience thing. Mud Chocula is just really really strong, and Pixels is, I mean, it's pretty bananas, man, how good this guy is. So we'll see. Potentially an easy matchup with Sweden too, especially with that card that's like, oh, we're gonna skip one Ravage step. I tend to not like those cards. The only card I like that's like, hey, skip a Ravage action is Vengeances, because you have to actually set it up a little bit by getting a disease in there. This is just kind of like, I don't know. It's just it kind of cheeses things for me a little bit. I mean, Many Minds does that too, but you have to target. You have to take a beast away at least with Many Minds. But again, Many Minds is not one of my favorite to play. So that's whatever. Just skip a Ravage action. Great. It's very convenient. So I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I am continually reminding myself these are low complexity spirits, but I think if you look at the low complexity spirits in the base game and then compare them to these, I mean, these are such an unbelievable level of uh more better. They're just stronger spirits. where especially you have the elements on the tracks, you're hitting your innates more. There's so many things that they did that make these spirits an absolute like just they're really strong. And also you have this one card that can only target another person, that gift of searing heat. The fact that we can use that on ourselves does really help, especially when you combine that with our special rule. Um, so yeah, I'll talk about all this as we get ready. But I just shuffled the event deck, probably too much, but I really wanted to make sure it was shuffled. So put that up there. I'll shuffle these powers, and then we'll go through the rest. Noah Duncan, I like heat, but it can be a bit tricky, especially with damage miners being kind of hit or miss. Excited to see how this plays out. My wife and I just played as green and downpour over Sweden 6 last night, ended net neutral on blight, but it was a brain burner nonetheless. Yeah, that's a pretty fun combo. I mean, both of the spirits are fairly strong, but Sweden, it gets going. I mean, again, like talk about skipping ravage actions. Like, I love greens. Like, take a presence off. I mean, that's a pretty high cost to pay. Now, green has ways of getting presence back, but there is that puzzle that I really like with Rising Heat. It's just kind of like, oh, we're just gonna make that go away, and that didn't happen. Mike Jane says AV is good. Thank you, sir. I actually remember to check that. Make sure. For one time, I actually checked, and for some reason, my mic was not plugged, was not being picked up by OBS. So I am very glad I checked. So I do appreciate the confirmation from Mike. Mike says, agreed. Horizon spirits are strong and generate a lot of fear, especially how the box they come in has no adversaries. Oh God. I remember that, man. Like, I can't imagine. I don't know, man. Everyone started there with no adversaries, right? Like, just the idea of going back to that. I mean, I found it dry then, and that's when I had no idea what was happening, and was still losing some very rudimentary games. But I mean, now I mean, it is what again. It worked for them. I don't know. I still marvel at how. I think for me, like, I mean, this game is such a acquired taste because I found the base game so underwhelming, and then I added Branch and Claw, and I was like, oh, and I don't normally do that. If I'm like iffy on the base game, I don't normally add expansions. Oh, maybe I'll like it more with the expansion. That's not kind of how I work, but I liked it just enough that I was like, I'm intrigued, and it's definitely a thing. And actually, my friend Steve might have bought Branch and Claw for me, if I'm trying to remember correctly. I don't know. So long ago, guys, and so many games. Who the heck can remember this crap? So yeah, I wonder how many people were like me that found the base game underwhelming and then just kind of walked away from the game. Now, I'm assuming the game's gotten so much buzz in the years since that it's like, all right, maybe I'll take a second look at this. I mean, I know Luke Hector kind of famously from He's from Broken Meeple. If you don't know, we did a top 10 together sometime last year when I had COVID, so it must have been last summer. Well, I didn't know I had COVID at the time, but I found out the next day I did. Always good. But yeah, Luke, didn't really like this game because he just had a really rough first experience, and then ended up being taught it by someone who actually knew what they were doing, and ended up loving it. So I wonder, it's a thing. All right, no extra comments. Let's go story time with Greg. We have Rising Heat of Sand, Stone and Sand. Okay, I said his name. Oh, did I write? It's singular stone, not stones. I think I wrote stones in the description. I'll have to fix that later. Uh, someone's like, "Dear God, if this is the first time you turned into me, I'm sorry. I'm not usually this." I mean, maybe I am. I don't know. It is what it is. The Han herders are very familiar with Rising Heat of Stone and Sand. The signs of its presence are passed down from generation to generation because it's really hot. That's a little bit little bit of my editorializing there. So it can be acknowledged and thanked for safe passage across its scorching domain. Even after centuries, the spirit remains a bit unclear on why living things get so unhappy about fatal what? Fatal desiccation, but the Dahan make such pleasant patterns across its sands that it's happy to forbear. It is mostly found in sandy and rocky lands with sparse vegetation, but may also reside in volcanic areas or even stretches of gravel or sand amidst wetter climates, radiating an intense and unusual heat all around. I don't even remember what desiccation means, so I'm going to Google this because knowledge is power, people. I mean, I thought I knew what desiccation meant, but I'm having a hard time figuring out what it means in this exact context. The removal of moisture from something. Okay, whatever. I mean, yeah, I'd be upset about fatal desiccation. It sounds like a bad idea. All right, let's go here. We're going to roll, shuffle. I don't know. I'm doing one of those two things with these cards. I'm going to roll a d6. I take out 3. These are going to be here. I'm going to get rid of a stage 2 card. I rolled something that goes there. We have 4 stage 2 cards left, and then I'm actually going to roll 2 dice, and we're going to put a specific card on the top of here. So I rolled a 4. We're going to roll, or say, well, actually 1 die twice. I rolled a 5, so that one's just going to stay on top. We're going to need that during setup. I'm going to shuffle up the fear deck. The fear deck is a 4/4/5 against the Kingdom of Sweden. Mike James says, yes, you are. Laugh out loud. It's fun though, so it's cool. I don't know. Somebody, oh, I forget it was a Reddit thread where someone mentioned my channel and said something like quirky. I think they called me quirky, and I was, and I saw it, and I was like, I'll go with quirky. Quirky, quirky is a safe word, man. I appreciate it. Oh, good times. All right. My wife, when we got married, she told me I was only funny about a third of the time I wanted to be. And and I think I've said this before, and I consistently told her that makes me a Hall of Famer if we're using baseball standards. So I was totally fine with that. She says my average has improved quite a bit over the years, so I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So 4/4/5. I think her sense of humor just got better. If I'm being quite honest, that was my gift to her, whether she'll acknowledge that or not. So the fear deck is 4/4/5. We have our 4 fear there. We need to pick a Blighted Island card. If I pick Tipping Point, I may or may not keep it in, depending on game state. Tipping Point, again, has unceremoniously been dismissed from the pantheon of Blight cards, but that will not be officially official until we get the Nature Incarnate expansion, which, is going to be sometime next year, this year, next year. I don't know. One of those two. I rolled a D20. I rolled a 1. So may the person in the back come to the front. The last shall be first. Let's make this happen. We're going to have 3 blight on there. We have 2 blight because the card said so, and 1 blight because Eric Royce loves you. He does. I promise. All right, we're going to put the stuff on the map here. In land 1, we have our 2 wetland Dahan. In land 2, we have a city and our jungle Dahan. We have a beast in land 3, which is the highest number of land, the lowest number of land without a pre-printed setup icon. We have a disease in land 2. We're going to put a sacred site in land 7 before I forget. Then we'll go through the rest of what makes pixels tick. We're going to have another city in land 4 because of Scotland. I'll go through their escalations as well. We have our starting blight in land 5 and our mountain Dahan there. We have 2 sands Dahan in land 7. We're going to have a town and a blight in land 8. I'll get to Scotland's escalations again as we go. And we have a town in land 7. I think that is everything. It is. Let's talk about Sweden. I think I'm going to say Scotland a billion times. I always mean Sweden. Just self-edit. Thank you very much. The Kingdom of Sweden, additional loss condition is a nothing burger, so nothing to worry about there. Stage 2 escalation, so when we get to the Stage 2 cards, when they have the symbol of the tower with the flag, what, is that a flag? It is a flag. Yep, flag. Swayed by the invaders. After invaders explore into each land this phase, if that land has at least as many invaders as Dahan, replace 1 Dahan with the town. Now, we do have a Dahan movement card. We would definitely going to want to use that early to try to prevent any of that crap from happening. One of the things that went very well for me in the game off camera is that I never lost a single Dahan over the course of the game to that escalation. The various levels of Sweden. So, level 1, if invaders do at least 6 damage to the land during Ravage, add an extra blight. The additional blight does not destroy presence or cause cascade. Number 2, population pressure at home. During setup on each board, add a town to land number 4. If the blight was there, we move it to land 5, but on our board, the blight started in land 5 anyway. Number 3, find steel for tools and guns. Towns deal 3 damage. Cities deal 5. We're not doing much defend anyway, so it does not really affect us very much. The biggest problem with that, again, is when you combine level 3 and level 1, it can mean for several situations where you're doing 2 blight instead of 1, and that could be a little bit bad if we start getting a downward spiral early. So definitely want to try to prevent some ravages, some key ravages early with our friend Sweltering Exhaustion. The art on that card is actually pretty cool. All right, see, I compliment art sometimes. Just that. I don't know. It isn't. It is what it is. All right, level 4, Royal Backing. During setup, after adding all other invaders, discard the top card on the invader deck. I'm going to do that right now. On each board, add a town to the land of that terrain with the fewest invaders. That means we have to add a town to a jungle. Now, I don't love that because, again, I want as many towns as possible in mountains and sands because those are where I am going to be strongest, because this is where it's going to be very easy for me to get presence. But we have some tricks to get presence in other places as well. All right, so that just stays there. Now, Mining Rush is level 5, and Ravaging adds at least 1 blight to a land. Add a town to an adjacent land without towns or cities. Cascading blight does not cause this effect. That's cascading. Cascading blight does not cause this effect. And the final one, Prospecting Outpost. During setup on each board, add a town and a blight to land number 8. The blight comes from the box, not from the blight card. We have already taken care of that. Flip this sucker over. What are our beautiful tracks? I'm actually going to take the blues and just put them. I want to get a little more space over here so I have some places to lay up my cards. I am zoomed in fairly closely for your viewing pleasure. All right. We have our presence track is Earth, 2 energy, 3 energy, 3 energy. Then we have a fire element. We have 4 energy, 5 energy. I am going to blitz the top track somewhat. I do want to get that fire exposed. That will really juice up our innate in a way that I really like. And then the bottom track is 1 card play to start, then 2 card plays, 2 card plays, 3 card plays, 4 card plays, 5 card plays, and a fire. I will probably not be getting much in the way of the bottom track. I have kind of turned Rising Heat of Stone and Sand into a bit of a major power user. This is kind of how he most intuitively works for my weird brain. Special rule, Blistering Heat. At your sacred sites, invaders have -1 health. Minimum 1. So that means explorers still have 1 health because it's minimum 1, but towns have 1 health instead of 2, and cities have 2 health instead of 3. It's pretty sick. Our innate power is Scorch with waves of heat. If we have 2 fire and 2 air, we do 2 damage to explorers only. If we have 3 fire and 2 mountain, we do 2 damage. If we have 4 fire, 1 air, and 3 mountain, we do 2 damage. And if we have 5 fire, 2 air, and 3 mountain, we do 1 damage to each invader. Note that doesn't say instead, so those all do stack. You figure out what what threshold you have, and then you do them all in order, all in the same land, 1 away from where you have a sacred site. Growth options. Growth option A, we have reclaim cards, gain a power card, gain an energy. Growth option B, add 2 presence on the board. Both presence are 3 away from where you already have presence, and they have to be placed in a mountain or a sands. We are pixels of stone and sand, not pixels of anywhere else. Gain a power, so growth option 3 is gain a power card, add a presence within 1 of where you have presence, and gain 2 energy. Our unique powers, 2 are fast, 2 are slow. The slow ones both cost 1 each. We'll talk about the fast ones first. Why? Because they're fast. And that's what we're going to do. All right. Gift of Searing Heat has a sun, a fire, and an air. It's a fast power. Target another spirit. In a true solo game, that means you can target yourself. So we can gain either 2 energy, or we can pay 1 energy to do 1 damage in one of our lands. That's super strong. Definitely going to be doing the latter a lot more than the former, especially with our energy track. We'll be able to get up to 3 energy a round pretty quickly, which is a fair amount of energy. Sweltering Heat costs 2. It has a fire and an air element. It's fast, 2 away from where you have a sacred site. Target is any land. Generate a fear off the top, and then skip 1 ravage or 1 build action. Very strong. Our slow powers, again, both cost 1. The Stinging Sandstorm, 1 away from where you have presence. Target is any land. It has a fire, an air, and a mountain or an earth element. Gather up to 1 of your presence, 1 fear, and 1 damage. If this power makes a sacred site, your special rule applies immediately, giving invaders their -1 health. Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Royce. And then we have Call on Herders for aid. It has a sun, a fire, an earth, and an animal tag. or element. I keep saying tags. It should be elements in the context of this game. It's slow power, range 2 from where you have presence. Target is any land. Gather up to 2 Dahan. For each Dahan present, push up to 1 explorer or town or Dahan. I'm a big fan of this card in the context of getting our Dahan where we want them to be. All right, checking out the chat. Ryan Stelly, first time watching live. I have no idea how you handle the higher difficulty levels. I have trouble at level 1. Good luck. Thank you, Ryan. Private Vendetta. Hey there, finally caught up to live. Awesome. Adam, Greg is a Spirit Island god. They need to make him into a promo spirit. Oh my god. Dude, there are people that do when they're combining adversaries and playing they're playing like 6 spirits at a time at level 17 difficulty. I mean, those guys make them Primo spirits. I'm just some goofball with a camera. Vinny says, how you doing? How you doing, Vinny? Sorry, I couldn't help myself, man. I'm from Staten Island. It is what it is. Thank you for stopping by, Adam. His spirit name, Beardeth Groweth with Fury. Mike James, Volcano's spastic little brother. Yeah. I don't know if you're talking about me or if you're talking about Pixels, but I think both are applicable and I like them both. All right, let's make this happen. Initial Explorer is the final step of setup. We're exploring the sands, and that's a good thing. Woof, maybe. I don't know. We might get some blight early. That's fine. I'm fine with that. It's gonna be a bit. I mean, sands is always good for me because I'm like, oh, I can just smash you. I just want to figure out. I think my standard opening, or the opening I did last time, is gonna have to be tweaked a wee bit. Well, I'm probably gonna skip the gather 1 damage, 2 damage. Huh? It's a pickle. 5. I was gonna blitz the top track, but I think I might need to get 2 card plays here. That's an interesting beginning for sure. All right, well, I'm gonna skip the rabbits there. I think that makes the most sense. I can gather and push 2 out of 7, just get them into 5, or I can get them into 8, whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll see what the next explorer is. I get them into 1. Maybe I just go with it. I don't think. Yeah, I might have a blight early, which would add another town, but I can kind of mitigate that as well. So it is what it is. I'm still gonna blitz the top track. I think that's my best bet here. So I'm gonna take 2 presents. I'm gonna take it from the top track, and I'm gonna add them both into. I'm gonna make another sacred site. Sacred sites are my friend for sure. I do want to get some reach into 3. So I'll put the sacred site there. I'm gonna play 1 card, but I also get 2 energy from the presence track. And the 1 card I'm going to play is going to be Call on Herders for Aid. And I'll put played cards over here. I think that makes the most sense. We're going to do an element check just for the sake of being thorough. We're going to have 1 fire and 2 earth. 1 fire and 2 earth does not give me anything for my innate for this round. All right, I'm going to pay the 1 energy because I have to actually pay for a call on Herders for Aid, and we go to the invader phase. The invader phase, first step, we're going to flip over the top event card. We are not carrying it out. It is outpaced. I'm not sad to see that out of the deck, and now we'll carry out the invader steps. Ravage step, there's nothing happening on the very first turn. Build step, we're going to build a town inland number 4, and we're going to build a city inland number 7. I should say I'm using the fold to space insert. I'm a big fan. I've definitely talked about that enough, so I won't belabor that too much today, but it's a very excellent insert. And now we're going to do the explore step. We have wetlands. All right, so we get 1 explorer inland 3, another explorer inland 1, invader cards advance. I'm going to Think about what's at risk of a Dahan turning into a town. I mean, two's at risk, one's at risk. Lots of stuff is at risk. But I think they'll make. I'm not digging how this is playing out. I could get a power card. I think I can make. I think I can make this work. Do 2 cards next turn. That could be pretty strong. All right, we'll do that. What's that? You'll see. Hold on. All right, so I'm going to target land 7. I'm going to gather up to 2. A Dahan, I'm just going to gather the 1, and then for each Dahan present, I can push up to 1 explorer, town, or Dahan. I'm going to push both of these suckers into land 8 because that's where they want to be. They told me, and that's that. If it ravages 5, 1 survives. I have a sacred site there. But if I lose a sacred site, it'll have. There's a lot going on. I need to get a little lucky with the event, but I think that's still my best play. So we'll see. This comes over here, and now we're going to go to the time passes, and we're now going to go to growth. If I let them both build towns, it's ravaging 5, so there's really not much I can do there. All right, let me gain a power card. I'm going to gain 2 energy. I'm going to gain 2 energy from the growth option. I'm gaining 2 energy from the presence track. I'm going to add a presence 1 away, so I'm not limited to just sands and mountain. I'll put it here as a reminder I still need to put it on the board. And then I'm going to grab a minor power. Would not mind a defend power. So we have called the ferocity. It does have my elements. Gather up to 3 Dahan. A target land is the Dahan. 1 fear and push. Or, so it's gather up to 3 Dahan, or if target land is the Han, 1 fear and push 1 explorer and 1 town. Prowling Panthers, slow power, has a fire, does not have an earth or an air though. 1 fear, add a beast. Target land has to be a mountains or a jungle. If target land has a beast, destroy. Or if target land is a beast, destroy 1 explorer or 1 town. Confounding mists, defend 4. Each invader added to target land this turn may immediately be pushed to any adjacent land. And actually, I'm probably adding from the bottom track before I get that confused. That could be strong. Confounding Mist to defend 4 works really well in land 7. It's not going to let me do everything I wanted to do in lands 1 and 3, but it will give me a good shot to deal with that next turn. And then Elusive Ambushes has a fire. It does not have an earth. Fast, either do 1 damage in a land that has a Dahan or defend 4. I think that's more flexible. It doesn't have the air though. But honestly, the air is not going to do much for me this turn anyway, so I think it has the fire, which is probably more important. All right, so I'm going to take Elusive Ambushes. That was a good Confounding Mist and Elusive Ambushes. That's a really nice, having that choice between the two is really strong. And then I'm going to play these 2 cards. I'm going to play Elusive Ambushes, and I'm going to play Sweltering Exhaustion. I'm going to generate, I have to pay for those. I never did add my presence. I will add this presence. I will add this presence. 1 away from my have presence. I'll add this presence in land 2. Because I don't think we're going to do much about 3 next turn. Or 1. So I can get a couple of blight. I'm not that worried about it. All right. Sweltering exhaustion, I'm generating a fear, and then I'm going to skip one ravage action. I'm going to skip the ravage action in land 4. Elusive ambushes, I have to target a land with the Han. I'm going to defend 4 in land 7. So that will work. And I'll just put that as a reminder that the defend power. Let me check the chat. Vinny says I'm from Northern Jersey, so not that far off. And Northern New Jersey is pretty much Staten Island. Yup. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's make this happen. So we're gonna go to the event card. This could definitely turn ugly quick, depending on what it is. Oh, I hate this card. Well, it didn't turn ugly, but if I had known that was going to come up, I definitely could have done some better stuff. So, temporary truce. In lands with the Han, one Dahan and one town or city do not participate in ravages. They neither give nor receive damage. They neither take nor deal damage. And I love the proper use of neither and nor, because Eric Royce is just a genius. All right, so that's a little gross. So we are at Terror level 1. These guys are just not participating, so that city is going to survive. Prey on the Heedless. In each land with the beast, did 1 damage per beast. That's pretty excellent for land 3. And the Speak of the Spirit's Anger. For each board, 1 fear if any Dahan are in lands with towns or cities. 1, 2, so it's per board. There are Dahan inlands with towns and cities. It is not per, it's just 1 overall, so we just get the 1 fear from that. Ravage Step. Again, this city is not participating, so it can't take or receive damage, so just nothing happens there. And we skip this Ravage over here. Dunskies. Alright, we remembered that, so I'll take this off and put it up there. Nothing else to remember on that card. Build action, we're going to build in build step, we're going to build in land 1. And then explore step, we're going into mountains. We do not trigger the loss of a Dahan. So we have to worry about wetlands and we have to worry about jungle for the sake of that. Invader cards advance. I have no slow powers. So if I'd only known, that's where you get like the spirits that can look at the top card of a deck. That's where that's so strong, because you're just like, oh great, I don't need to worry about that. Let me go kill something else. It'd be most excellent. Most excellente. Excellent. This will work well, I think. I'm going to add 2 presents. I'm adding them both from the top track because I'm doing growth option 2. I'm going to add them both into land 8. All right. I get 3 energy from the presence track. I'll just take a 3er and I'm going to pay for a Stinging Sandstorm. So I have a fast power. I'm going to pay 1 energy to deal 1 damage in a land with my presence. I think I'm getting a blight there. It's ravaging 4. I could get lucky with the event card again, but that doesn't feel likely. I could just gain the 2 energy if I don't think this is going to do all that much. No, I can wipe out everything in 8. I think I'm going to go with that. All right, so I'm going to do 1 damage in 8. And because I have a sacred site there, this town only has 1 health instead of 2. And that means I have a 3rd fear. Stinging Sandstorm is slow. Let me check out my elemental threshold. I have 2 air. I have 2 earth, 1 on the board, 1 on the card, and I have 3 fire, 1 on the board, and 2 on the cards. That's going to give me not only the 1st level of Scorch with waves of heat, it also gives me the 2nd. All right, event card. What magic is going to happen? In each land with 2 or more towns, that is 0 lands. So I'm glad I killed that town while I had the chance. So we don't have to do anything. In each land with 2 or more towns, push 1 town to a land without towns. Plagues bringing fear and death. 1 fear per board with disease. Excellent. That's going to give me a fear card. And then on each board, 2 damage to Dahan in a land with disease, and I am more than happy about that. It limits the chances of the escalation, making a Dahan into a town. Sorry, Dahan, you had to go. Engage on their own terms. During Ravage, Dahan only do 1 damage each, but deal damage before the invaders. That's also most excellent. Wow. That's an excellent card. That is super lucky. Now remember, the invaders are doing, the towns and cities do plus damage, but they do not have plus health. Plus health is England, to keep that all clear. All right, too many monsters. Each player removes one explore a town from a land with a beast. That is my fear card. It is useless, but I am fine with that. We now go to Ravage. So the Han deal damage before the invaders. They're going to wipe out this town. That's a fear. And then the invaders attack. They do 1 damage to Dahan. Now the Dahan already did their damage, so there is no retaliation, right? That's effectively what happens with that card. I remember to do that, so we're going to take that event card and put that up there. There's nothing to ravage in 3. Build. We're going to build a city in land 8. We're building a town in land 5. Explore step. What do we get? Coastal land. So we don't have to worry about the escalation. We got an explorer into 1, an explorer into 2, and an explorer into 3. Invader cards advance. I have my innate, and then I have stinging sandstorm. With my innate, I do have 2 fire and 2 air. I'm doing 2 damage to explorers only. Then I'm doing 2 more damage. Remember, the city only has 2 health instead of 3 because it's in a land with my sacred site. That's 2 fear. That's done. And then I'm going to gather up to 1. So I'm going to target land 8. Now gather up to 1 of my presence. I do not want to gather up to 1 of my presence. So I don't, it says up to, so it's not mandatory to do the rest of the card. Again, that's different than like Angry Eel. Angry Eel, you have to move the presence. This is a little different. I get 1 fear off the top. I do 1 damage. This town only has 1 health. So that's dead. This has another fear as well. And land 8 is cleaned out because Pixels is mighty strong. Stop calling me Pixels. No. Sorry. I have conversations with my spirits. I'm sure that's totally normal and everyone else does the same thing. Growth option. Reclaim cards. Growth option A. This guy heals because time does pass. This can come off. I'm going to get 1 energy from the growth option. I'm going to get 3 energy from the presence track. I'm not adding any more presence, so I know it is definitely 3 energy. All right, I'm going to get a major. Why? Because that's how I like to play the spirit. Volcanic eruption. So 6 fear, 20 damage, destroy all Dahan and beast, and add a blight. If you have 4 fire and 3 earth, remember this does add a fire and an earth. Destroy all invaders. 1, add a wild, and each adjacent land 10 damage. Destroy all Dahan and beast, and if there's no blight, add a blight. That's just woof. Unlock the gates of deepest power. It's crazy. It has all of the elements. It costs 4. Target spirit gains a major power by drawing 2 and keeping 1 without having to forget another power card. Paralyzing fright. 4 fear. Invader skip all actions in target land this turn. And last but not least, we have poisoned land. 1 fear, 7 damage, add a blight and destroy all the Han. I guess we just want to add a lot of blight. That seems to be what's happening. What is happening here, actually? It's ravaging there. I'll probably just skip that. Because why do I want to add a blight where I have blight? Oh, I could defend. I don't think I get the Han in there, though. I got this defend 4. It's fairly strong. But I'll probably want that next turn. There. Riff. Riffity whiff. If I had a sacred site there, I could kill that town, but that's not going to work. Don't think this Powerling for fight make any much sense. I don't love these cards, I'm not going to lie. I really want to trigger my 8. Not a this. I mean, unlock the gates has all my elements. That's. I could just start cycling through major powers. I don't use unlock the gates very often, but that would really let me just absolutely spam the card again. Like spam growth option B. We don't have to worry about gaining cards. It only costs 4. I'm going to have a lot of energy. Has my elements. All right, unlock the gates. We're going to unlock some gates, kids. Why not? It'll be fun. So I am going to play Unlock the Gates of Deepest Power, and I'm going to play. oh, Yeah, I really don't want to blight. Oh, so yeah, the ambushes does require that there's a Dahan there, so that is one of the limitations of that card. Confounding Mist might have been a little bit better had I thought about that, but I really wanted that fire. So I will play Sweltering Exhaustion. So I'm going to put 2 energy here, 4 energy here. And that's fine. I would need 1 additional of every single element in order to do the kicker for Unlock the Gates of Deepest Power. Target spirit may now play the major power they keep by paying half its cost, round up, or forgetting it at the end of the turn. It gains all elemental thresholds. That's fairly sick. All right. I guess it gains all elemental thresholds if you do either one of those things, which is pretty gross. All right, I'm going to generate a fear, and I'm going to skip the Ravage inland number 5. We're going to draw 2 major power cards, keep 1 without having to fed a card. What do I want? Not great. Not hitting my elements. So we got Savage Transformation, 2 Fear replaced an Explorer with a Beast. That could be fine. If I have 2 Moon and 3 Animals, this does give me 1 Moon and 3 Animal elements. Then I could replace an additional Explorer with a Beast in either target land or an adjacent land. So we can become a Beast Spirit. I mean, we're a Magic Dragon. Might as well get some beastie things going on as well. That is the end of that turn. Let me do an element check. I do have 1, 2, 3 fire. I have 1, 2 air. Oh, 3 air. Look at me. I'm full of air. And then I have 1, 2 earth. 1 from that card, 1 from the board. So that does give me both levels of Scorch with waves of heat again. Both the first 2 levels, I should say. And I have 1 energy left. Right? Because I gained 4. I spent 6. Yeah, I had some remainder for sure. I had 2 left. Makes sense. 3 left? I don't know. I definitely had some energy left. Let me check this out. Mike James, talking to the spirits is totally normal. Mine usually contain more expletives, though. You have to be nice to them, Mike. You have to treat them like the family pet, man. They're very sensitive. All right, let's go to the event card. What do we get? Stages 2 on each board with exactly 1 coastal city. Add a town to a coastal land without a city. Woof. Okay, I dig. It's fine. I'm going to add a town. So I have exactly 1 coastal city. I'm going to add it to 1 because I could push it out of there thanks to settlers and approach too far. Not ideal, though. Stricken. In lands with disease and strife, invaders skip ravage actions. Does not apply to us. And then each board, choose a land with towns and cities. The towns in Dahan. Push 1 town per 2 Dahan. So I'm going to push this 1 town into land 5. That makes the most sense. Fear card. What do we get? Terror level 1. Invaders should not build in lands with cities. Well, that's fairly excellent. So I'm going to put a reminder on there and a reminder on here, and that means we're going to be able to keep that disease. So I dig that. Ravage action. Well, we're skipping the Ravage on land 5 because, it's sweltering heat today in the forecast. And that prevented them from wanting to do anything ravagey. Ravagey, it's a word. Look it up. We're building, or don't, please. I don't know. Do what you want. We're building a town there. We're not building there, so the disease stays, and we're building a town there. Again, the bill was not presented by the disease. If it was, we would have actually removed the disease. It was prevented by the fear card. We are going to go to an explore step. Oh no, we've had a conversion. A bad conversion, I dare say. We put an explorer there. We put an explorer there, and it's like, whoop! One of you guys is now a town. Yikes. And these guys advance. That's probably the last one we'll lose to that. There's only 1 more stage 2 card, and these Dahan in the sands are pretty safe from that mess. So it is what it is. This reminder can come off. This reminder can come off. We're good with that stuff. My only slow power is my innate. I'm going to target land 3 and wipe everything out. So 1 fear. And so again, the first level killed these 2 explorers. The second level did 2 damage to the town. I did not have any of my special stuff going on there. My special sauce of reducing the invaders health by 1, minimum 1, but I didn't need it because again, the second level of my innate does 2 damage. We go to time passing. That's slow. Everything is slow. Woof. Woofity woof 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 woof. Ravaging. Man, I have not taken a blight yet. I think that streak is about to end. Alright, I'm adding 2 presents because I want to. I'm going to add both from the bottom track. We'll get 3 card plays. I'm getting 3 energy from the presents track. 1 and 2 and 3. I'm going to add both these presents into land 5 because again, I have to add them to sands or mountains, and I dig what's going on there. And now I have to play 3 card plays. So we're going to do elusive ambushes. That's going to cost me 1. What else is fast? Uh, Gift of Searing Heat. That costs me 1. Nah. No. No, 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 no. I kind of dig it though. But I kind of want to get to this level 3 of my innate. I mean, I could do Savage Transformation though too. If I hold on to those, I do want at least 1 earth in there. Hold on to these for next turn. Ooh, I wanted the energy for those 3. Yikes. Never mind. I do that. I have to do the defend 4. Prevents 2 blight from going into land 1. It'll just be 1 instead. Ooh, I could just defend land 2. No, I can't. I don't have a. Mid-size Mike's strategy of expletives here. It's kind of what I'm feeling. I have to defend. I can't. I don't want 3 blight to get added. So that's a thing. If I do that, I'll get up to level. I wouldn't have level 1, but I will have level 3. I might reclaim actually. Major power draws have been not exactly what I've been hoping for. I still haven't found what I've been hoping for. All right, actually, let me do this. What does that do to my innates? That's fine. That gives me levels 1 and 2. Great. We are going to. Yeah, I think that's best case scenario. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 air. 1, 2. I'm sorry, 4 fire, 2 air, and 2 earth. That gives me the first 2 levels of Scorch with Waves of Heat. I'm gonna Again, I paid. I'm not taking 2 energy. I'm playing Gift of Searing Heat to do 1 damage here. I'm doing 1 damage there to prevent that from doing 6 damage. It's now only doing 5. I'm going to do Elusive Ambushes. I'm going to defend 4, inland 1 for the sole reason of preventing the double blight there. So we're looking at adding 2 blight, which isn't great because it does mean we're going to have to add a couple of towns here, but we can try to choose the order I want to do that in, and I think that will be absolutely fine. We're going to get our event card. Let's see what it is. It is Healthy Island. On each board, add a town to a land with explorers and towns. Okay. I'll add it into 5. Seems best. Sand Fever Outbreak. On each board, add a disease to the sands or mountains with the most cities or towns. So we're going to get a disease into land 4. And then each spirit at least 2 Dahana among its lands gains an energy. I will take that. We have earned 0 fear cards. So that's a little unfortunate. Now we're going to ravage. I'm going to ravage and land 1 first. That's super important. So land 3. It's like 1. It's just different. It's 2 more actually. So I'm ravaging a land 3 first. So ravage. Excellent. Good job. Now we're ravaging in land 2 next. Land 2 is doing 5 damage, not 6. That is going to be a blight that does destroy one of my presents. And then I'm going to add a town, an adjacent land, because of the escalation of number 5. We're putting a town in land 3. Now we're ravaging in land 1. It's ravaging 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember, Sweden adds +1 to each of those towns. That is only 5. Only 5 comes through, so it's again only a singular blight. This Dahan is destroyed. We add a blight here, and then we have to add a town in the adjacent land that does not have any towns. I will add this town to 8 because why not? It seems fun. Now we're going to do the explore step. It's our last stage 2 card. We're exploring into jungles. We get an explorer into 1. We get an explorer into 2. I'm going to use my innate Scorched with Waves of Heat to wipe out everything at 6. I don't really want to deal with that. That gives me a fear. That gives me a fear card. We're 4 away from Terror level 2. These should have advanced. Sorry about that. All right. Oh, we're ravaging. We're ravaging wetlands again. Woof. Hmm. Yeah, I still think it makes sense to clean out 6. I got to start dealing with some towns one at a time here. Mhm. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna have to reclaim. I don't like these powers. Major powers have not been my friend. All right, I'm gonna gather. I drew 6, and just none of them are great. I'm gonna gather 1 presence from 8 into 1 using Stinging Sandstorm. I get a fear off the top. I do 1 damage. That's just enough to kill an explorer, which isn't great, but it's kind of enough at this point. And then we'll see about. I'm not adding in my presence. Woof. I could do growth option 3 actually. Add a presence in there. Hope I get lucky. 5 energy. +2, 7 energy. Forget a power. Elusive ambushes has kind of run its course. Yeah, I dig. All right, this is going out here. This leaves. I'm not going to reclaim. I want to get a sacred site in land 1. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a presence into land 1. I'm gaining from the top track. I'm going to get 2 energy from the growth option, 4 energy from the presence track. And I'm going to gain a power card. And I'm going to gain a major. So I already added the presence because I know I wanted a sacred site in land 1. Blood Rack Plague. Add 2 disease for each disease in target land. Defend 1 in target and adjacent lands. That's not enough defense. Dissolve the bonds of kinship. That's slow. It does have a fire. Tiger's hunting. Target land is 1 away from me. Have a sacred site. 2 fear. Add a beast. Gather a beast. 1 damage per beast. Tush up to 2 beasts. And 6 damage. That's probably what I need to do. It's gonna make us go Blight of the Island, but I don't think I have much of a choice here. Spill bitterness into the earth. 6 damage, range 0. It's gonna add a blight anyways, so you know. Crap. It's got my elements. It's too good. Spill bitterness. We're gonna be some bitter man. All right, that goes there. I have to forget a power. We're gonna forget elusive ambushes. It's not doing anything for me. And can I afford all 3 of these? I can. All right, spill bitterness into the earth. There. Cost 5. This costs 2. This costs 1. Yeah, I'm just gonna wipe out 1. I'll have to put another blight in. I'll put a blight in 7. I can lose a presence there. That shouldn't be the worst thing. It's gonna be easy for me to get presence back. Element check. I have no air, but I have 1, 2, 3 fire, and I have 1, 2, 3 earth. That just gives me the 2nd level of scorch with waves of heat. I do not have the first. Again, I have zilcho in the way of air, and I do not have the kicker of spill bitterness because I don't have 3 water, and I don't have the kicker of savage transformation because I do not have either 3 animal elements or 3 the other one. Moon. It's a moon, Greg. Moons are tough. Oh. You know what? I cheated. I'm a cheater. When I gained unlock the gates, I never forgot a power. So I would have had to forget this. This would have made the most sense to forget because again, the way the Dahan are. So I would have forgotten call on herders for aid. Because I was like, oh, it doesn't make you forget powers. Yeah, but that's next. I never forgot a power the first time. So I can save the 1 energy. So let me redo the element check. Stop cheating, Greg. I only have 1, 2 fire, and I only have 2. I do have 2 words still, but I don't have enough for any of those elements. So, yeah, sorry about that. This I didn't have to forget a power for because I got this with unlock the gates, but I did not forget a power when I got unlock the gates. All right. Mike James. Mateo, hello Greg, hello chat. In which expansion can I find the spirit? These are one of the horizons of Spirit Island spirits, so they're all low complexity. I find them fine. I think they're good. I think for experienced players, it can be a little boring. This has actually been a very interesting game. It started off pretty rough, and I kind of like that. So, but yeah, they're all from the Horizons of Spirit Island. It's a Target exclusive. It was originally a Target exclusive only in the U.S. and they found a way to get it available overseas, but I'm not sure if it's widely available overseas yet. But if it's not yet, it should be pretty soon. I was gonna get a review copy and it just never came, so I'm borrowing my friend's copy. Um, yeah, they're good. I mean, they're all the art is the one thing I really don't like about it, but as far as the powers, the unique powers, the low complexity nature of the spirits, they're all fairly strong in their own way. This is my 5th one. I beat 4 level 6 adversaries with the first 4, so we'll see if I can keep my perfect score, so to speak. Although it's looking a little iffy at this exact moment. All right, let me carry this out. So, and make sure I didn't do any other cheaty things. Nope, that's fine. Forgot two cards. That makes sense. So, yeah, reclaiming would not have been helpful with where I was at because I really wanted to get a sacred site in 1. Turns out it's not going to matter because the sacred site's about to go away. So, I'm doing 6 damage in the land where I have presence. So, those 2 explorers are out. Those 2 towns are out. That's 2 fear because I destroyed 2 towns. I'm adding 2 Badlands or 2 Strife. I will add 2 Badlands. That could be really helpful. But I'm also adding a Blight. Since I add a Blight, I destroy a presence. And then when you add a Blight to a land that already has Blight, you have to cascade. I will cascade this into 7, which is going to destroy another presence. All right. In up to 3 adjacent lands with Blight, add a Badlands or a Strife. I will add a Strife to land 2 because it has Blight. I will add a Badlands to land 5, and I will add a Badlands. No, I'll add a Strife to land. No, I'll add I'll add a Strife to land 7. I think it makes sense to Strife the cities. We'll see what this first Terror level 3 card is, or Invader stage 3 card is. Excellent. There's a lot of bitterness build. Did I cheat and take that from the box? I think I did, because I'm a goofball. Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 2, 3 in the card. Yeah, I think I took them both from the box, because yeah. So one thing about this folder space insert, I usually make sure the blade is far away from me because I've done that before and it's really silly. So let me just cover that so I don't take from there anymore. So 1, 2, 3. There were 2 on the board to start because we played against Sweden, and then so the first blight I added there would have been for the card. So I haven't cascaded yet. All right, so let me put these back in the box where they belong, and then we'll take from the card because, you know, cheater sin. I already destroyed a presence there. I'll put this presence back here just for the sake of being thorough. And actually, technically, this presence doesn't have to leave yet until we see what the Blooded Island effect is. Bam! Aid from... Oh, God. Such a good card. Aid from Lesser Spirits. The problem with this card right now is I do have to cascade, so I literally have 1 blight left on this card, and that's super dangerous. But I could do a lot worse. It's really dangerous. No, because I'm gonna Ravage there too, but I'm not sure what's happening there. I can't keep it as much as I want to. All right, so when you're playing true solo, you have the option to ignore the 2 blight per player card. This is a fun one though. So it's 2 blight per player. Immediately draw 1 minor power per player plus 1. Give 1 to each spirit. This may be used every turn as they're played, but costs no card plays energy. Place unselected card in minor power discard pile. It also gives you elements. Like it can be really game breakingly good. The danger of that though is I still need the cascade, and then I still have a bit of a problem area in land 3 over here. So the next card, Tipping Point. Sure, we'll keep it. Why not? So we're gonna do this, and this. We're keeping Tipping Point. It's its last hurrah. I'll take it out of the box from now on. So we have 5 blight on there. The Eric Royce Love You Blight only counts at setup. He stops loving you halfway through the game when you let his island go blighted. It's just the way he's a little vindictive, that guy. And now we're gonna add a cascading blight into 7, and then that destroys that. So I just wiped out 4 of my presents, and I only have 3 left on my board. Oh well. But yeah, Tipping Point it is. It's still in the game, kids. We're gonna keep it there. Done. So that's all done. Now we have, this is a slow power, and I have none of my innates, and we'll see what happens next. So we have to get the event card. Bureaucrats adjust funding for Terror level 1 or Terror level 2. On each board with 9 or more towns or cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yikes, build cards skip the highest numbered land, matching the build card. Well, that's... I wiped those guys out. Ugh. Great. So you're skipping a land that doesn't have any towns or cities. Anyway, thank you. Terrifying Beast, 2 fear per board with 2 or more beasts. I only have 1. Coordinated defense. When invaders ravage, if the land has both presence and Dahan, defend 5. That will not apply for me. All right. If I had 3 or few cities and towns, then they would have built 1 extra in the highest ever land, matching the build card. Whatever. Fear card. In each land, defend 1 per Dahan. That is not going to do it, kids. So we're ravaging. We're adding a blight in land 3. They're ravaging 3. The event cards could definitely be a little more helpful. So we only have 3 blight left on that card. We already took care of land 1 thanks to spilling some bitterness into the earth. We're going to build. We're skipping the build in 6. We're taking the D's off of 2. Yoink, just like that. And now explore card. We're exploring everywhere. We're going to explore in land 8. We're exploring in land 6. We're exploring in land 5. and we're exploring inland 2. This is looking rather ugly. All right, invader cards advance. This goes away. We're going to do Savage Transformation. I'm getting 2 Fear, Remainder 1, Fear card, Terror level 2. This event card can go away because we took care of that, causing a Dahan situation here. That's done. I'm going to replace an Explorer with a Beast, and now we have a second Beast on the board, again, continually not having to worry about land 6. All that moolah goes away. That's done. We go to time passing, go to growth. I'm going to get 1 energy from the growth option, 4 energy from the presence track. I gain a power card. We're gaining a minor. Thriving choke fungus. Okay, after watching The Last of Us, that's pretty funny. So with slow power, one away from you have a sacred site. Target land has to be a jungle or a wetland. Add a disease or a badlands. Sunset's fire flows across the land. One away from a sacred site, plus 1 fear, 1 damage. You may pay 1 energy to deal 1 damage in an adjacent land. That could be interesting. Weep for what is lost. 1 fear per type of invader present in a land that has blight. Push up to 1 explorer town per blight, and then grow through sacrifice. I can't destroy presence. I already have enough to destroy it. Again, one of those situations where I don't think growth through sacrifice is that strong. It's really strong when you get it early, but I think how strong it is a little bit overstated. That's my soapbox. I will die on that hill. So I just combined 2 little metaphors in one for you there. I know you appreciated it. Woof. I mean, Spill Bitterness is so like the only card I have that's really good right now. I have to get rid of some stuff there. Oh, that's interesting. Sunset's Fire for sure. Those go away. I have 3 card plays. I'm doing Sunset's Fire. Cost me 2. I can wipe out everything in 5. That's strong. 8's a problem. It is a problem. I have no defend actions. I can skip the Ravage there next turn. That's great. That is good. Good. Alright, I'll place Gift of Searing Heat. And I will play... This is probably my next turn. Unless I get Savage Transformation out again. I could do Unlock the Gates. No, I'll play Stinging Sandstorm. It's fine. So Sunset's Fire grows across the land, costs 1. I'm going to put another 1 on it because I'm going to pay to deal 1 damage in an adjacent land. I'm putting 1 damage on Gift of Searing Heat, or 1 energy on Gift of Searing Heat, and then I'm changing up this 3 for 3 1s, and I'm going to put 1 energy there to pay for that. Mike James, is that a blight card I should remove? So Nature Incarnate is officially doing away with Tipping Point. It is totally up to you whether you want us to do that now or later. It's also doing away with Growth through Sacrifice. So it's up to you whether you want to do that now or later. I have kept both my cards in, similar to how I did not start playing with the extra blight rule. I'm sorry, I did not start playing with the Jagged Earth, don't do the first event rule until I got Jagged Earth. So it just is what it is. But yeah, both those cards, Tipping Point definitely should come out. It's a big problem for a lot of spirits. It's like an auto you lose card with like volcano. It's an auto you lose card with fangs. I mean, there's some really gross things about tipping point. It's just not balanced for all the spirits. But growth or sacrifice again. I go back and forth. I mean, people like I don't go back and forth. I'm pretty emphatic that it's not as strong as people think it is. But my playstyle is different than some people. So I think if you're, it depends on your playstyle and how you like to approach this game. Like for me, like I often find myself. I think in multiplayer games, tipping point can be real. I mean, growth or sacrifice is probably stronger in two solo games, as a matter of course. But again, um, that's just my personal. Because you can target any, like that's really strong. I think in two solo games, often you're gonna need something with a little bit more punch. Like late, if you get it early game, great. But if you get a late game, it's not gonna do much good for you. All right, so let's make this happen. Oh, that's slow. Sure. Sunset's fire is slow. That's not great. Wow, I thought that was fast. I thought it was fast. Oh, that's a another bad card draw. Like I need any defend in there. Wow. All right, let me change. I would have done Savage transformation in 2 instead of now because I got information I shouldn't have had. Woof. Nah, I like the idea of keeping 6 clean. That's bad. That's really bad, kids. Well, hopefully we get some help. But I have no Dahan in there. I have that Strife. So stupid. All right, so I don't actually have to pay this energy yet. I do have to pay this energy. Ah, that's really bad. Elemental check. We have. What time is it? 2:10. Excellent. We have 3 fire, 4 fire. We have 2 air. We have 1 earth, 2 earth. Do I try to get another earth in there? If Sunset's fire is slow, maybe I do this. I have the energy. We'll do unlock the gates. I have 2 sun. I do not have 2 moon, but that gives me a bunch of goodness. So that's 5 fire. 2 air. Well, 3 air really, and 3 earth. So that gives me all the levels of Scorch with waves of heat. And that I can get behind. I don't have the kicker there because I'm missing a second moon. I'm also missing a second water. I'm also missing a second earth, and I'm also missing a second animal. So there's really no chance that that was happening. I'd have to do. I don't even have a plant. I said earth. I'm missing a second plant. I don't even have a plant. So yeah, it gives me all levels of scorch with waves of heat. I dig that. It just means I'm a little risky in land number 2. All right, so I'm gonna look at the top 2 major powers. Give me something good. Oh, hello. Pyroclastic flow is fairly excellent. Yes, please. So again, I don't have to forget a power for that one. So I drew 2 cards, kept 1. I'm gonna do Gift of Soaring Heat. I could just gain 2 energy. That might actually be better. Especially if I'm trying to pay for all these cards next turn. Yeah, I'm just. Oh man, that's crazy. I'm going to put Sunset's Flow in. That doesn't change the elements. Instead of doing... Yeah, I think that's the strongest move. Instead of them get the soaring heat, because it doesn't make sense for me to really do damage anywhere. I'm about to like obliterate everything in 5. The biggest concern right now is like Blight Cascade in 2, but I can always put that into 4 and I'll still be alive. If Strife's negated, that's a problem. But I think I can make the rest of this work. We'll have to figure out what the heck's going on in 8 next turn. But 5 is not going to be a problem. I can always skip the Ravage in 8. So I'll dig that. All right. Checking the chat. Mike Jason, I'll likely not get Nature Incarnate. Thanks for the info. Appreciate it. Whoa, I never actually made it to a live playthrough. I always watch after the fact. Woof. What's up, Penguin? How are you, man? Alrighty then. I need some help, please. Events. Investigation of Dangers, Terror Level 2. Invaders do +3 damage per land when ravaging and lands with presence. That's not a problem. I'll put a reminder there. They're not ravaging any lands with presence, but, you know, just in case. Each beast destroys 1 explorer. Well, that beast wasn't there. I savaged it. That's fine. We're good. I was like, I wasted the card, but no, that beast is only there because I took care of that explorer. And then each spirit with at least 3 Dahan among its lands may use a slow power now instead of later. Yes, I have 3 Dahan and 7, which is bananas. I will use... I need to prevent that Blight Cascade. It doesn't seem like I'm gaining energy. So, yeah, well, this is Sunset's Fire, Flows. I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm going to target land 2. I'm going to generate a fear. And we do... Oh, I'm going to dump the reminder tokens out on the side of the board because that's super cool. And then it's an advanced move. And then we're going to get the... we're going to do 1 damage and wipe out that Explorer. Woo! Alright. Well, saved by that. Who would have thunk 3 Dahan mattered? And then each player adds a strife to a town. For the rest of this turn, invaders have -1 health per strife to a minimum of 1. Oh. That's unfortunate. Okay, so we're going to add a strife to this town. And that will work. I can kill that city, which is pretty sick. All right, this should work well, I think. It's like the local play spirits, like they're not. There's a lot to think about with these spirits in a way that, like, I'm not sure that's really low complexity. It's fine. Ravaging, only ravaging 1. This strife comes off. Ravaging there, nothing happening. And again, there was no presence in either land, so destroy the unnatural did not trigger. We did not add 3 to either of those strifes or ravages. Building, we're building a city in land 8. We're building a city in land 5. Towns are, oh, man, jungles are hot. Town there, and nothing to build in land 6. Exploring sands and wetlands. So we get an explorer here, an explorer here, an explorer here, and an explorer here. Invader cards advance. We definitely need to go late game beast mode. I feel like I'm playing a vengeance game right now. So let me target land 5. I'm destroying 2 explorers with level 1 of my innate. Again, this is Scorch with Waves of Heat. I'm doing 2 damage. 2 damage becomes 3 because of the Badlands. And remember, all these suckers have -1 health. So everything there is going to be wiped out because I have 2 damage, and then I have... Oh, man. Did I wipe out everything in 4? Nah, I think I have to go with this. Yeah, so everything's out because of the Badlands, the -1 health to everything. It's just 2 damage, 1 damage to each invader. This is like the river. Everything dies. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fear. So there's going to be one more coming down and a fear card. We're approaching terror level 3. So that means that the 4 cities on the board are definitely a primary target. We only have 9 fear to go there. I'm going to gather, I'm going to do Stinging Sandstorm. I'm going to gather one of my presents. I get 1 fear off the top. I'm doing 1 damage. That's another fear card. That's from the 1 fear off the top. The 1 damage, remember, this city, now that I have a sacred site there, has 1 less health. And because it has a strife, it has 1 less health. So it only has 1 health. So that 1 damage is enough to kill that, which is 2 more fear. And that city is gone. So that was really strong. All this stuff goes away. Time passes. I might spill bitterness into land 2. That would give me 1 blight left on the card. It's range 0. Of course it's range 0. 5. Eight's ravaging, 5's ravaging. I could skip 1 ravage action. This might build a city, which I don't love. Mm. All right. It's ravaging 5, 8, 9. Strife there was pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. I'm going to only do 3 card plays. I think that's a better idea. We're going to get 1 presence in there. So I already did the presence. We're going to get 2 energy from the presence track, or to the growth option, 5 energy from the presence track. And we're gaining a minor power card. Like calls to like. Steam vents. That's exciting. Steam vents has my poison dew. Steam vents for the win. I'm 1 water away. That's funny. I thought I had the kicker. Do I have 8? No, I have 7. Steam vents isn't going to do much for me this turn. But sweltering exhaustion and that's 7. And then I guess I do gift of searing heat. And I use it for the energy. It definitely takes some energy. Pyroclastic flow. It's pretty strong. Can use that in the sands next turn if I get another air. Think I do this for next turn. That's a strong freaking turn. Does the extra air do anything for me this turn? That's the question. I try to get lucky and hopefully I pull an air. Steam vents is fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna need one of these events to cooperate, man. It's not been the greatest run of events. Yeah, I'm going to keep Gift of Searing back. I'm not going to have Scorched Waves of Heat. I'm going for a Terror level 3 victory anyway, so killing Explorers, if they build a town, they build a town. I'm not that worried about it. So that will do. I'm going to pay the 5 for Spill Bitterness and the 2 for Sweltering Exhaustion. Remember, the Gift of Searing Heat, I can get 2 energy, or can pay 1 energy to do 1 damage to one of my lands. I think I'm going to want that 1 damage capability for sure. Hopefully, I have 2 Fear cards, Terror level 2. Hopefully, they start clicking for me. Yeah, we'll see. Element check. We have 2, 3 fire, including the one on their board. We have 1, 2 earth, including the one on their board. We only have 1 air, so we only have the 2nd level of Scorch Waves of Heat. We do not have the 1st. Did I cheat earlier? I vaguely remember saying that earlier, and I wonder if I killed an explorer I shouldn't have killed. But then if I killed an explorer I shouldn't have killed, then I did a savage transformation, and then remember a beast killed an explorer, so I think it would have evened out. No matter how we worked it, because I used Scorch Waves of Heat with an explorer in a town. I think I should have only killed the town, but someone could check me on that. But I think, again, the way it worked out, the explorer would have been killed anyway by the last event, if I'm remembering the sequence in my head right. So I'm doing 6 damage in land 2 with Spill Bitterness. That kills all this stuff. That's 3. That's 3 fear, because I killed a city and a town. So remainder 1 fear card. I'm going to add 2 wilds, or 2 badlands, and a blight. The blight is going to cascade. It destroys this. It's going to cascade into here. It destroys this. So lots of destroyed presence, kids. And up to 3 additional lands of blight, which are all of them. We're adding badlands or strife. I'll add a badlands in 3. I'll add a badlands in 4. And I'll add a badlands in this is nuts. 5. I'm going to get 1 fear off the top. I'm skipping the Ravage in 8. So that Strife will stay on there because I'm just utterly skipping it. And again, we have just the 2nd level and not the 1st level of Scorch with Waves of Heat. All right, let's do our event card. This could get ugly quick. Farmers seek the Dahan for aid. The Han are uncertain whether to teach the invaders farmer takes more attunement with the island's life. You recommend that they... Well, I can't add a blight, so I have to do number 2. And I don't hate that much. All right, half the boards. Add a disease to a land with both the Han and invaders. Nope, that's the second thing. So I'm adding a town to a land with the Han. So the town has to go in land 7. And then I add a disease to a land with both the Han and the invaders. That has to also go into land. Oh, and then the next normal ravage becomes the build. I add disease to a land with both the Han and the invaders, which is there, and the 2 damage to the Dahan. There's no badlands there, otherwise it could be accelerated. Now we're doing our fear cards. We have 3 of them. Terror level 2. Each player removes 1 explorer town from a land with beast, disease, or at least 2 Dahan. I'll remove this town from there. That's super nice. There was a beast there. Dahan threatened. For each player adds a strife in a land with Dahan. For the rest of this turn, invaders and strife have -1 health to a minimum of 1. That will go there. That could be super helpful. And then last but not least, each player removes 1 explorer or town from a coastal land. Don't mind if I do. Immigration accelerates. This explorer is out. The next normal ravage becomes a build. So, nothing to build in 2, 5, or 6. We're building a town in 8. The strife stays because the ravage never happened. These come out. Dunskies. That's all taken care of. We're now doing the actual build step. Nothing to build in 1. We get a town in land 3. Disease comes off land 4. Disease comes off land 7. And that's it. Explore step. Jungles and sands. We get an explorer in 2, an explorer in 6, an explorer in 4, and an explorer in 7. Invader cards advance. Reminder now, I only have the 2nd threshold, not the 1st. It's one of the things I don't like when you have like the different elements like that. It can get really tricky. So since I only have the 2nd threshold, I will do 2 damage, 1 away from I have a sacred site. Well, that limits. I was going to do land 4. I cannot do land 4, Greg. So I will do land 7. And feel fairly confident what I can do in land 4 next turn. Great. So we're doing land 7. I do 2 damage. There's no bad lands there. Remember, 1 less health because of the strife. And, well, it's minimum 1 because they have 1 less health because I have a sacred site there too. But the 2 damage effectively is going to be enough to kill 1 town and 1 explorer because of the way things get messed around here. And then that's going to be a fear. There's an argument there to leave the town with the strife because to retaliate, but again, I just gotta hope that nothing funny happens. Because like, if something negates strife, I'm gonna want the town. I did the right thing. If something adds 1 per land for damage, I did the wrong thing, right? So because there's still 1 explorer there. All right, we are 1 fear away from terror level 3. Invader cards advance. This comes out. This comes out. I'm going to do growth option C again. We're going to get 1 presence into land 3. And I can do 4 card plays. So let's see how much energy I have. We have 2. Great. And then we have 5. I can play all of these and get the bonus. Oh, sorry. We're off the screen a little bit. Sorry if that's been happening for a while. We'll do that. Pay attention to your screen, Greg. All right. 3 for Pyroclastic Flow. 2, oh, I also gain an energy. I also gain a power card. So just in case I want to improve on this, I will do an element check with what I have, however. 1, 2, 3, 4 fire. 1, 2, 3 air. And then 1, 2, 3 earth. That will give me the first 3 levels of Scorch with Waves of Heat. I'm gaining a power card. Hazard spread across the islands is really strong. And that crushes my elements. Yeah, I don't think Savage Transformation makes any sense at this point. Great. We'll not pay for Savage Transformation. We're going to do Hazard Spread across the islands. And that's important to get that air for Pyroclastic Flow. But it's, again, one of the reasons I kept Steam Vents. So 1, 2, I actually have 4 air. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 earth. and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we actually have all levels of Scorched Waves. I should win on this turn. All right, steam vents. I have the kicker, so I'm just going to destroy this town. That's a fear card. We're in terror level 3. I'm going to do pyroclastic flow. I have the kicker, so I'm doing 6 damage here, and I destroy all explorers. So the kicker gives me +4. I add a wilds. If it was a jungle or a wetland, I would have had to add a blight. That gives me 3 fear. That's done. I'm going to do 1 damage in one of my lands. I'm just going to wipe that guy out just to be safe. And then I'm going to add something. I'm going to choose a token type. There's a strife there. I'm going to add a strife here and just really cover my bases and make sure I don't get screwed by something weird with the events that adds a blight, because I have no more blight to add. Oh, these are all fast, which is crazy town. I don't know why I took all the energy off. I'll just put it back to show that it was all paid for. And we have the grand finale of them all, which I should be able to scorch with waves of heat in land 8 and wipe the sucker out. This can come away. That was her last turn where I skipped the Ravage. Event card. Don't kill me. All right. Blighted Island. Invaders immediately ravage in 1 terrain type not showing under 8 or any card. Spirits may prevent this by destroying 2 presents from each board to be protected. Well, that would kill me because they would ravage in land 8. That's a non-starter. So I'm going to destroy these 2 presents because, you know, who needs presents anymore, kids? It is what it is. So I destroyed 2 presents. We have 3 presents left on the board, and this is all my destroyed presents there, which is a lot. Beast revoked. On each board, add a beast to a land without blight that has a town. I don't think such a land exists. It does not, so that's not a thing. During Ravage in every land, defend 1 per Dahan. So I'm actually defended 2 here. Doesn't really matter. Fear cards. Again, we are in Terror level 3. Each player chooses a different land to isolate. Also defend 4 in those lands. I will isolate. I don't think it matters. I will isolate you. All right, Ravaging. This guy is out. We now go to the build step. We get nothing else ravaged. We got a town here, a town here. Nothing left to build in 7. Explore step. It's our penultimate card. That's right. Let's drop the penultimate on you. We have 1 explorer here, 1 explorer here, 1 explorer here. There is a source into 5 from land 2. Invader cards advance. And now we're going to do Scorch with Waves of Heat, 2 damage to explorers only. And then 7,000 damage. I did the math. It's 2 and 2 and then 1 to each advance. Oh. I actually can't wipe things out there, which is funny. So it's 2 damage, 2 damage. Oh, I could do it this way. 2 damage. When your powers, you can decide to how you want to do it. So 2 damage. I'm going to do 1 and 1. 2 damage. I'm going to do that. And then 1 damage to each invader. Wipes all 3 out. That's 4 fear. Fear card. Terror level 3 victory. In the books. Woo! Not how I thought I would do it. But it worked. I dig. You know, almost made some big mistakes that would have brought the victory into question, but I think we caught it all by the end. So that's good. That's a really strong showing. That was a much more interesting game. The one I did off camera was just like, oh, this guy is not interesting to me. But that worked out really well. We always prevented the double blight with Sweden, which obviously was a huge difference maker. In the end, we had 1 blight left on the card. You know, being able to use unlock the gates kind of makes something work. These were not the greatest, you know, major powers. We got Spill Bitterness now, and we're like, well, got to play a little brinksmanshipy. You know, we still had Tipping Point. We're able to manage to win without it. It did kind of make things a little harder with all the presents we had to remove from the board, but I dig. If we did not take Tipping Point, the next one would have been back against the wall. I would not have been able to take that. Next one after that would have been still healthy, and then we would have had to add a blight. Once we got through that, which we would have had power corrodes, Yeah, that would have been actually just as good or bad as tipping points. So yeah, I think we still pulled off a pretty emphatic victory there. But again, we're looking at this. We only had one land that did not have any blight, so we were getting close to perpetual blight, which happens a lot if you're playing a stone and you're not being careful. So cool. That was fun. Penguin plus removing a town can prevent a city in build phase. Maybe I'm not following closely enough to know all the active effects. Yeah, for sure. Penguin smiles. Love the word penultimate. Next game you can drop anti-penultimate. I'll do it just for you, man. That's hilarious. But this was super cool. These were the horizons of Spirit Island Spirits. I will try to come back. I'm going to take a break from these spirits from a little bit. I do want to do a two-handed playthrough on the two spirit board. This is way. There we go. I feel like I'm getting off the camera. On the two spirit board that comes with Horizons, there neither of those invader boards are in any of the release material so far. I'm assuming they're going to be in Nature Incarnate. So I think that'll be fun. It's a good little board. It is not, again, it's made for just the base game content though, so it does not include spaces for all the tokens and stuff, but I will be playing that with the tokens. That's how I like to play this game. Occasionally I'll do a no events playthrough um, for the channel, but it's been a while, so maybe I'm due to do another one of those. But we'll do that. There is a three spirit board side on that. So, but you could actually do like a two spirit playthrough with an extra board. It could be a really good way because this is really nice and set up for you. So that could be fun. So we'll consider that as well. They make the board a little bit smaller to kind of fit it on the game board that they give you. So it should be easy to get that on the channel. And then we'll see. I mean, there's another again Spirit Island. The Spirit Island subreddit always has some really good challenges that come through. So there's one I bookmarked as a future playthrough to get to. But we'll just kind of be cycling back and forth with some spirits. Always happy to take requests. I'll try to look at my calendar, see, what spirits I haven't featured in quite a while. There are some spirits that are going to get on the channel more than others just because of personal favorites or because of, levels of depth of the spirit or things that I feel like I can show, better or worse. I mean, obviously, there was a lot of the low complexity spirits from the base game because I went back and I went through all the aspect cards and all the scenarios. There's a couple of those scenarios I probably want to refeature, maybe do two-handed. I think Powers Unforgotten I could afford to do that two-handed. I think would be a little bit better of a showing of what that scenario is all about. So we'll see. Haha, Heart, good game. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. This was super cool. My parents are in town, so tomorrow no stream. It took me a minute to figure out what I was putting on the channel this week. I was originally planning to do Gloom of Kilforth and the next Cloudspire scenario. I don't think I'm going to have the time to do either of those justice. Again, those Cloudspire scenarios take a lot of time to learn and make sure I have all the rules down. And Gloom of Kilforth took me a little bit longer to really get down than I thought it would. So it's a good game. I like it. I hate the rulebook, but I hate a lot of rulebooks. So it's in good company. But so I'm probably pushing those off to next week. So we're gonna have Siege of Valeria. I got the campaign expansion. I'm excited to dig into that. We're going to be doing Dawn of the Zeds on Friday because I love Dawn of the Zeds and I miss it. And then Button Shy did send me two more solo games, so Rove and Sprawlopolis. I know those are not big view getters, but I do think it's important as a channel to show some of the very good games at lower price points. And I think both of them. I like Rove more than Sprawlopolis, but I do like them both for what they do, and they're really good travel games. So I'm trying to again keep a wider variety of games on my channel than perhaps I used to, for sure. So that will be that. And then again, next week we'll have another Mage Night. We have Cloudspire, Airs Chapter 4. We'll have Gloom of Kilforth. I'm going to try to do 5 days in a row next week. So lots of good things coming up. I At some point I got to write a formal apology to Steamforge. I keep punting their games a little bit, but definitely need to get to Dark Souls, need to get to Bard Song, and also I just got a review copy of Wingspan, which I do plan on getting on the channel pretty quick. I already know the game, so I assume learning the Atoma won't take that long, and I can get that on the channel as well. We'll have the expansions for Australia. That will be on the channel pretty soon as well. I want to kind of put a bow on that. I'm probably just going to combine Tasmania and Revenge and just do that as one video, and kind of be done with that. I do like Australia. Did I say Tasmania? I said Australia. I don't know, one of the two. I do like Australia a lot, but there's only so much to show with that game in these videos. So anything that I've mentioned that you really want to see, definitely let me know. I did just update the public post on my Patreon page. You can go to my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Look for March's public post, and then it'll tell you the whole list of games that I have planned. I have not only review copies, but a bunch of games I myself purchased. I purchased a bunch in December at the PAX Unplugged Marketplace. So I have a ton of content to get to this year that I'm excited to do, but I'm obviously prioritizing the review copies because again, publishers send them to me, and I want to make sure they get on the channel. But Nemesis, I plan to get on the channel sometime this month, so I'm excited about that. And trying to think what else I might have been learning from stuff that I personally bought. So I just got Black Sonata, which had been on my radar for a long time. Arkham Horror Revised Edition is a game I'm trying to get to the table with some friends so I can learn it a little bit better and get that on the channel soon as well. So Penguin says, "Be honest, how hard is it to play other games when you own Spirit Island?" uh it's it's funny. Like I play Spirit Island a lot with my friend Tony. Um I don't know, man. I love the variety so much. I mean, I think there are times, and I also like learning new games. I like the puzzle. I'm getting quicker to analyze whether, all right, is this game staying, or is it just going to be like, hey, I'm going to get a video on the channel, then it's just going to go. But I think that's fine. I mean, I think if you look at like games like books, like we all have our favorite books, we all have our favorite TV shows, but it doesn't mean it's all we watch or it's all we read, right? If I can kind of butcher that analogy a little bit. But like, Spirit Island is that game where I can get on the table and I can get it on the channel quick, and I do really love playing it. But I off camera I tend to play more co-op than I play by myself. And I think just there's so many games I'm trying to learn, and so many games I'm really interested in that you know I think I play it so much that I don't really long to play it more. I play it the right amount. I mean, there are only two games that I feature every other week, guaranteed, and that's Maze Night Spirit Island. So it's going to stay at that echelon for a very long time, and I don't see a third game creeping into there for a lot of reasons. So you know, those are my two favorite games, and that hasn't changed. But yeah, it's definitely not hard for me to play a wide variety of games. The games that I wish I could play more. I mean, Uprising, Dawn of the Zeds. The longer games that they're really hard to feature, and they're really hard to get to the table, and they don't get the same view counts that Spirit Island or Maze Night do. So I do that like every quarter, as opposed to every other week. Gaia Project, is one of those things. So, we'll see. I mean, if those chip theory games, getting classified at the table more would be great. It's not realistic. I mean, I still haven't even started to learn Halpomachus Victorum. There's just so many games that are out there. Have you tried Sky Tier Horde? I have not. I don't. That's not solo, right? I know. I mean, I know it's a. I'm pretty sure it's a Steam Forged game. Like, I'm intrigued. I'm kind of in a. I'm have like this love hate relationship with a lot of Steam Forged stuff. And obviously, Resident Evil 3 is my favorite of their games, and I'm really psyched that they resurrected Euthia. So those are probably going to be my two favorite Steam Forged games. Skytier looks interesting to me, but I haven't. I mean, if the next game I'm going to ask for from them is probably going to be Monster Hunter World. That game kind of looks like it checks off some boxes of things I would like. Penguin says, "I hear you. I love variety and learning new games too. I just don't have the personal time at the moment to play which I want. That's why I have a carries to live through you." Yeah, I have more time than I should right now. That is for sure. It's not Steam's Forge as far as I know. Sky Tier Horde. Like, let me Google it. Googly moogly. Googly eyes. Watch from the trees. Board game geek. Sky Tier. Oh, it's not. Okay. Well, I don't know what they. Steamforge has a game. I'm trying to figure out what I'm confusing it with. Interesting. It's a lane-based card battler in which one or two players fight against a horde of monsters controlled by the game. Ah, sounds like Caesar Valeria. Probably a little bit more in depth. 2.36. So actually, it's not that heavy. Am I thinking of God Tier? I think they have a. Did they have a game called God Tier? Yeah, Steamforge is a game called God Tier. My bad. Sky Tier. I have not heard of Sky Tier. I will email the publisher. I will put a pin in it for sure. Yeah, that sounds like a game I would really like. That I mean, I really like Seeds of Valeria. I like Last Bastion. I like the battle defensey stuff. I mean, obviously, Dawn of the Zeds is my third favorite game of all time. So yeah, I'll email them and see if I can get a review copy. I might have actually already. I might have heard that a long time ago. I'm wondering if it rings a little bit of a bell that you mentioned it here. I wonder if I've already contacted them. But never hurts to shoot off an email. All right, I'm just sending myself a link. I know this is super exciting for y'all. Paste. Send. Cool. Cool. Because I mean, I've done a really good job getting through my review copies, other than the Steamforge games. So hopefully, I'll have some openings. You were thinking God tier, I think. Yes, I was. Tears, tears, Jordan tears. I don't know. The Swedes have Jordan tears after I shellacked them. Again, I think there might have been one mistake here. I think I did 2 damage to explorers, but I'm pretty sure I used that there. If I did, and it would have been taken care of by the events. Um, yeah, it's a radically different game than I had. The one off camera was just like an absolute joke. I had one blight come off the card the entire time. It was it's pretty sick. It's just like whoop. Just losing so much presence really did kind of limit my special rule. But yeah, I mean, you see that Scorch with Waves of Heat. I mean, that is really strong. Yeah, so good, so good. You get that 5-2-3. I mean, I really think getting to that fire really opens up the spirit so much, and covers up a lot of like bad card draws. Again, my card draws were not especially good. I mean, look, you get a card like Unlock the Gates of Deep Power, or Gates of Deepest Power, and if you're not getting every element where you can play it immediately, remember this game's only like 8 to 10 turns max at the higher levels. That you're not, you only have so many opportunities to use that. So when you're delayed that way, um, it's almost like, oh, well, but it did let me cycle through more of that deck and got me some of the cards I really wanted and ended up needing. Spill Bitterness, obviously being the MVP, but also Spill Bitterness is responsible for 4 of the blight that's on the island. That's rough. So it is what it is. Skytier Horde is pretty fun, fast, easy to get into, has keywords and text activations. I don't think it'll be a favorite for you, but I do think you will like it. Yeah, no, it from the quick description, it definitely sounded like Siege of Valeria, which I really do like a lot. They sent me the campaign expansion. I think I'm gonna like the campaign expansion more than the base game, although I do worry about the campaign expansion making it a little bit easier with some of the extra tools they give you, but you are up against harder enemies. Again, my big complaint about the base game was that it was, if you were using all your abilities, it wasn't hard. The question is, could you beat it and still have like 13 or 18 cards left in your, just that you didn't use, right? Did you forgo those opportunities? And that's like not a super satisfying way to play a game, where you're just like, I'm not going to use this card because I want to score higher. Isn't how I operate. It's like I don't do scoring in Maze Knight. I just try to jack the difficulty up and destroy some things. So the campaign really focuses more on win-loss conditions, and that I dig a lot more. So I think again, we'll get that on the channel Wednesday. So I'm excited to get that up and running. And honestly, I might just do it as a first look, considering the rules they don't add that many rules, and I already know the game pretty well, so that could be pretty easy. So we'll see. But this was cool. Thank you for the chat, Mike, Penguin, Mateo. I don't know who else was here today. We had a good crowd. Adam, Vinny, Vinny was here. Ryan was here. Private Vendetta was here. What a day, man. Noah started us off. I love it. And not nary a Manticore sighting or a Sagitt sighting because, he doesn't like this game as much as I do, which it's fine. It's not, we're not all perfect. I get it. But Tony's upset he wasn't here because he was in a meeting. Mike James, I'm mostly a Eurogamer, but I think I like the really quick and fun card games. Have a great day, Greg. Have a great day to you as well. Yeah, I've gotten the small box games. I think it's another part of my journey too, where it's like not only do I like being able to feature quicker games that are at lower price points, I also like featuring games that are like, hey, these are shorter games. You don't have a lot of time. This is a great game experience in a small package, you know, and that's super cool. Penguin, can you win even without doing your best? Yeah, that's pretty much how Siege of Valeria feels, where it's like, well, you won pretty easily, but how many cards do you have left? Because you kind of, it's like, I have a horde of monsters coming at me, and I'm going to be like, no, I will not use this really strong power because I have regal aspirations. It's like, no, dude, you're fighting for your life. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's a little bit less, it's an underwhelming experience, but it's funny. So yeah, we'll see if the campaign fixes. I mean, again, I really like that game though. It's quick, it's fast, it's smart, and it's not like you're gonna take it out of the box and start winning every game out right away. It definitely took me 3, 4, 5 games to really get the hang of it. But then once I did, I was like, oh, okay, this is not a challenge unless I force myself to play the highest score game. And we all know how I live about how I feel about beat your own score. So super cool, super awesome. Thank you so much for an amazing chat. I will be back on Wednesday. And until then, thanks for joining me and happy gaming.
Solo.